So welcome back, everyone. I'm excited about bringing on my next guest. I have with me attorney David Tierney, and he's a partner emeritus, I said it wrong, emeritus at Sachs Tierney. Welcome to the show. You've got to tell everybody first a little bit about yourself, how you came to move from Cambridge, Massachusetts to a law firm out in the Wild West out here in 1969.
So I met this guy in a bar in Philadelphia. He was the brother of a friend of mine who had invited me to go down to Philadelphia while I was in a clerkship with the Supreme Court of Massachusetts. And Lee Dushoff said, come in and meet me at the Marlin Hotel bar. And I sat there waiting, and a guy came up and started talking to me. And it turned out he was Jay Dushoff from this town, and he was a very responsible and well-known lawyer and in the condemnation field. And by the end of the weekend, I had an invitation to come out here. And I told him, that seems okay. Went to my judge. The judge said, oh, well, you can go, that's all right. Phoenix is somewhere out west of the Adirondacks. And so I went, I saw, and at the end of it, they offered me a job, and I said, gee, I got the Army, or it was the Coast Guard, so I was gonna do it. And so I finally decided on the Peace Corps instead.
Okay, well, that was a good idea.
It was in those days, I'll tell you.
So tell me about your time in the Peace Corps.
So in 1966, after 3 months of training at San Francisco State with clouds of tear gas hanging over the campus and riot police running around in our training grounds, off we went to Venezuela. There were 60 taken to try out for this, and only 30 would remain. I was one of the 30. We were going to be first assistants to the very first city managers in Venezuela. So I got the largest city because I had the best Spanish, and I went to Barquisimeto, state of Lara in Venezuela. I was assistant to the city manager, the first one. We had one fire engine in a town of 500,000 people. We had a garbage system which involved collecting it and dumping in the river. There was no traffic light in the city, and with one other volunteer, I set about making up what was a traffic survey, finding a way to get fire engines from USAID in Caracas, doing the first budget for the city, and I had wonderful, co-workers. I had a great task list to do. The culture was great. The food was great. It was an unbelievable time. I had about 2.5, 3 years.
That's awesome. I do want to talk about the firm. So I'm going to ask you a question that's not on this list, okay?
Oh, well, that's okay.
Okay. So you said to me before we came on, because I asked you where you're located, and you said you're in Scottsdale. You said you're the largest law firm in Scottsdale. So let's talk about the firm for just a minute.
Well, the firm is about 40-something lawyers. We are the largest, and we do construction law, healthcare, human relations, real estate, business advice, business litigation, commercial litigation, intellectual property, franchise work, and 3 of us do what I do today, which is construction, dispute, mediation, and arbitration.
It's an interesting form of law.
Believe me, it's God's work. If you can take a client who's been savaged by a contractor, say a homeowner, and you can sit him down, file a complaint or a petition in arbitration, a demand in arbitration, and then you can get him to mediation, and you can find a way to solve this case without the 27 months and expense of getting to a trial in court, or the 7 months to get to the end of an arbitration. If you can cut those expenses and come to an acceptable, best alternative to a trial or an arbitration hearing and award, that is God's work.
Well, it's awesome that you do that, and I think you love what you do.
I do.
I think you do. Now, how do you feel about attorneys doing service in the community?
So, in the words of Justice Louis Dembitz Brandeis, Supreme Court Justice about 1910-12, Louis Brandeis.
Don't you just love attorneys? Go ahead.
In his words, any lawyer who draws a good living from the community in which he lives has an obligation to do about 25 to 30% of his time in some pro bono kind of work. That's true for citizens as well. In my native Boston and Dayton, Ohio, and Minneapolis, there's a tradition of philanthropy and doing public service. So in Boston, the Kennedys and the McCormicks and the Levenstalls, they all did and prominently said they were doing public service. And it was just a tradition in Boston. My mother was very active in BU, Boston University alumni stuff and the Hart Fund and the silver-haired legislature in Boston, Massachusetts. I mean, I grew up that was what you did.
Well, you know, and they do have to do it. Do they do it?
Well, it's a tradition in Boston and the other cities I mentioned. It's not so much that tradition here. But we are, you know, a community where we're not yet so rooted. We don't have a common, well-known history and folklore of philanthropy and that kind of public service.
Because we're transients.
We're 2.7 years here before you're gone to someplace else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one. What made you decide to assist nonprofits in your community?
Well, I guess it's the Louis Dimmitt stuff. I mean, I went to Brandeis University and I went to Harvard Law School, and both places teach you.
I know, I can tell.
Well, I don't usually talk about it. But anyway, you in both places, there is talk about the need to do service to the community. And since I've been here, I've been doing it a lot. So I've been on probably 40 different boards and commissions and political campaigns in addition. And you know, I can just list them off. I've got all kinds of things that I've been doing, but it is not only fun, it's great business getting additional for a person who's a professional. And it has to be done because in this town, unfortunately, unlike Massachusetts, if you want public services, you know, services of an important thing like blind reading stuff, it's going to be done by a 501c3 charitable corporation, not by the state of Massachusetts or the state of Arizona. It just doesn't happen here. It's really all public stuff is done by private 501c3 charitable corporations.
Very
And
true.
if we don't chip in, the blind don't get to learn how to read, the symphony doesn't prosper, mental health services disappear, housing for mental health doesn't work out, and this is what we do.
Well, I have to also bring this in too. So, I asked you before you came on how old you were,
Yes.
right? And you're up there.
Yep.
And when I say that you love what you do, you don't even have to be doing what you're doing,
Oh no.
but you do it because.
I don't know, history, tradition, how I'm built. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, and also for all of what you do to assist others, you know, I think there's a lot of people that even are supposed to do it, and I bet you they don't do it a lot. I want you to hear that a lot.
I think there's a lot
But the
of.
integrity is where we come in with this, which is your generation that has that.
I
We're
think there's
losing
an
it.
awful lot of, in this town, there's an awful lot of, I'll send them $500, but not so much commitment to, I will serve on the board and I will give up one Thursday evening each month to spend a 3-hour board meeting with a treasurer's report and do a thoughtful analysis of where we are, with a review of the policy issues, personnel issues, working with the CEO and the CFO about how this organization is going to prosper and do its great mission. That's what's mission in this town.
I love it. So, what associations do you currently work with?
Boy, well, the ones I love, I was, 5 years ago, I was on 16 boards at one time. 2 years ago, I got it down to 6. Right now, I'm spending most of my time on 2.5 boards. One is the Foundation for Nonprofits, which helps 501c3 corporations that are in kind of a state of crisis or need. And a company, or rather an organization, gets in touch with us, and they have a president who's just disappeared, or a CFO that's moved out of town, or something like that, and their board has suddenly had loss of 5 members all at one time, and we help them through that crisis period. We also do training and that sort of thing. There's the Irish American Cultural Institute, which is down on 1106 North Central, and I've spent quite a bit of time with that, and that's where my heart is. And then the last one is something called the courts, the Foundation for Courts. And then we do special courts, and we finance these courts so they can give incentives to the people that are coming before them as defendants. And when they do meet their promises, they need to get something physical, or more than just a pat on the head for having been sober for 6 months or whatever. And we want to have funds available. You can't use public funds to do such things. So we raise the funds, and they get the funds. Then they get bus passes, they get diapers, they get socks, they get bedding, and a lot of other stuff.
Well, that's really cool.
Those are the best ones I'm on right now.
Well, that's really neat. Now, I want you to have your say of what you want to leave with the audience. I don't even know what to ask you right now. I've never been lost for, we have 1 minute, so let me do it this way, okay? I wanna say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show and talking about yourself and all that you do to assist so many nonprofits. I know what that means. My daughter is in theater, and the theaters out here for the community theaters that are, a lot of them 501c3s that are dying for help, and also everything else. So I appreciate you very much for being here.
Well, thank you.
Well, you know what, it's, I tell you something, what I love about this show is it does offer for people to be able to talk about what they do. We'll be back on Monday, doing the same thing, so hang tight, we'll be back on Monday.